And welcome to Purple Clock. I am Perpetua Fasanmi-Peter. Thank you for joining us today on Purple Clock. If this is your very first time, thank you. And please subscribe to my channel right here. Thank you. Well, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always returning to my channel. I do appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, so today on Purple Clock, we're talking about something I feel is very important. It's the reason why some persons probably don't get to start that business, or the reason why some persons are stuck in the business and they do not know what to go moving forward. And it's probably the reason why some persons are having issues scaling up. No matter where you belong, this conversation is definitely going to help you. We'll be talking about funding small businesses today, and I'm not alone. I've got an amazing teacher. She's a barista, and also a business coach. So you will learn a lot from her, especially when it comes to money. I mean, she's really interested in money matters. She wants everybody, especially women, to be empowered. And I think that's a beautiful thing because I love it when women are empowered also. So yeah. Okay, so our guest today is none other than Jumoke, casting artist. Please don't forget to put the barista. Hello, ma'am. Good to have you on board.
I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to be on the show today.
Okay, now at the very beginning, what sources of funding should I consider if I want to start a business and I really do not have the cash?
Okay, if you don't have cash, you have already eliminated like two different sources. And the first one is your personal savings. And the second one is contribution. You know, if you've been saving in an account over time, or you join people to save money. I mean, I know people that when they have projects, they just think, how much is the cost of the project? If it's going to cost me like 700, let me look for 7 people to do 100K per month contribution. But saying that the person who wants to start the business doesn't have cash means that you don't even have enough to make that contribution. And then we'll start from the very, very basics. Who are the people around you that you can approach for help? Now, this is the most basic form of funding for small businesses. And it is extremely important because God made sure that nobody dropped from heaven and landed on earth alone, so that the person will have people they can lean on for support. Many of us, when we were starting off, even after graduation, you go back and meet your parents and say, okay, fine, I've learned everything, there's no job. How can you help me kickstart a business, or at least give me something to give me a soft landing where I'm going? Some people don't have parents, but they still have family members. Some people are not close to their family members, but they're really close to their friends. Relationships we have built over the years, these are the people we can actually count on to give us funding for our businesses. That's the very first place. It's also a very convenient place because they won't ask you for money, they won't ask you for collateral. Most times, though some parents want you to be accountable, so they'll tell you to plan to repay, they won't ask you to repay. They won't ask you to drop something before you can get money from them. And then they're interested in your starting the business. Some 2 weeks ago, I was in a meeting with a young man who was discussing his business idea with me. And, you know, he wants to start production of alternatives to sugar. And I asked him, what do you need? And in the long run, I found out that apart from the raw material, which is probably going to cost him maybe 1,000 naira, he needed a gas cooker, he needed a pot, he needed a place to do all that. And these are things you can get from friends and family. So you don't have to struggle so much to start the business if you start from a place of listing everything you need. When you have everything you need, it is easier to take out some things from sources that are non-cash. If you need a gas cooker, you can find somebody in your family that has a spare one, and then you don't have to buy one. If you need, sometimes some people want to even start cooking. For example, let's say you want to start making jollof rice once a week to sell in a particular location where people gather, like say a church or a mosque. And somebody donates to you a bag of rice. It has already taken out the cash element of your needs to start the business. So starting from home, you know, charity begins at home. Starting from home, starting from your immediate environment, that is the best place to raise funds for your business. Sometimes what you need is not funds, but help. You might even have somebody in your environment that knows how to do it better than you, They'll say, okay, why don't I help you make this thing you want to make for free until you can learn it and start doing it yourself. That has taken out the cash element for training. You know, raw materials like baskets, buckets, staplers, wrappers are all things you can get from people that are in your life already. And it would reduce the amount of funds you need. Even with the funds, you can appeal to friends, appeal to family. The worst that will happen is that they would ask you to repay. And you should not be afraid to repay if you are convinced that you can make money from your business idea. Now, that is the most basic. You know, that's the one where you don't have to fill form, write proposal, and you can just talk through your idea. But once you have left the family and you're now going outside of the family to look for help, you also have to have thought through your business plan very seriously. You must know what materials you're going to use. What is the unique selling point? Why do you think people will buy from you? What's the need your product is going to fulfill? Because before me, that I don't know you before, can give you money, you had better be showing me that it will work, one. Two, there's something in it for me. The only people that give money for free are the people that give grants. But aside from that, if we are talking about angel investors, they want to have a part of your profits. If we're talking about land, banks, they want a percentage of your profits and they call it interest. You know, all these other sources of funding that are outside trading, something has to be in it for the person that is providing it for you. There are other sources really for startups, but I don't think this would really work for startups because you have to have the track record. You can actually, if you're into sales, you can get the goods on credit and pay later. It's another source of funds, so to speak, but then it's the product you're getting, not liquid cash. And then when you sell, you deduct your profits and then you pay the principal. Though I said it might not work for startups, I know that I've started a fashion line like that before. I met someone who gave me clothes to sell and then I pay as I sell. So there's still a few good people out there that could help you jumpstart your business if you let them know you have a ready market for the things you want to sell and you give them a realistic timeline for making payments for whatever goods you get for them on credit. So these are the few things startup businesses can leverage on to get funding for their business.
Thank you so much. I totally like the last thing you talked about because I know a lot of people who are into pre-order and some other things, and that's exactly what they do. They don't. I was speaking with someone recently, and he was telling me that when he started the business, he didn't have anything. All he did was post other people's pictures, and then when they request, he sells. And he said he made in profit. That's somebody who didn't have a capital, that in a month or two he made over 100,000 naira, and I thought that was a good one because you didn't even start with a capital, and the first 2 months you're making 100,000 naira average as profit. I thought that was a good one. So yeah, I totally understand the points you just raised. So if you're listening and you're interested in buying and selling, I think you should think about this. Just get people who are going to give you goods and all of that.
You see, I found out that social media is good and bad. Bad in that you can get carried away with the things you see. Good in that they're always sharing opportunities. And I have had the privilege of being added to some strategic WhatsApp groups by some of my friends. On some of those groups, they have something they call Super Link Tuesday. And on Tuesdays, they share links to people who are asking you to pitch your business idea for funding. Tony Elumelu Foundation is one of that. You have a fantastic business idea, but you think you don't have anybody you can leverage on to raise your hand. So what do you do? Now, Tony Elumelu will give you a grant because you're not repaying. But there are people who would give you the money you need to start your business. But they will tell you that, okay, you repay the money over a period of time with interest, or they are funding this business for a percentage of your profits. Yes. But if you are conversant with, particularly Instagram, I see a lot of sponsored ads where people ask you, if I give you 5 million naira today, what would you do with it? Pitch your business idea and get funding. But a lot of the time, we don't even think through our business idea well enough to be able to access these funds. But there's money out there. And there are lots of people willing to make it available to people who are serious about their business.
All right, thank you so much. Now, for somebody who is already into business, I'm hoping that this particular conversation from right here will be another episode